Long before the familiar circular objects we call coins existed, the world of ancient Persia was a bustling hub of commerce and exchange. Imagine a marketplace in Susa or Persepolis around 2,600 years ago. Merchants from distant lands, perhaps from Egypt or the Indus Valley, would gather to trade their goods. Spices, textiles, precious stones and grains were all bartered. This system, where one item is directly exchanged for another, worked well enough for simple transactions. But what if a farmer, with a surplus of wheat, wanted a fine piece of cloth, and the cloth merchant had no need for more grain? This is where a more universal medium of exchange became necessary for a growing empire. To solve this problem, the ancient Persians, like many of their neighbors, turned to precious metals. Silver in particular became the standard for value. It was rare, durable, and desirable across many different cultures. Instead of carrying around bulky goods, a merchant could carry silver. However, this was not silver in the form of coins. It was used in various shapes and sizes: rings, ingots, cut pieces of jewelry, or simply rough, unmarked lumps. When a transaction was made, these pieces of silver had to be carefully weighed on a set of scales to determine their exact value. Every single trade required this slow and careful process of weighing and checking. The system known as a bullion economy was a significant step forward from simple barter. It allowed for more complex and long-distance trade, laying the groundwork for the vast economic network the Persian Empire would soon control. The use of weighed silver created a common language of value that could be understood from the shores of the Mediterranean to the mountains of Central Asia. It was a practical solution, but it was also cumbersome. A merchant had to trust that the scales were accurate and that the silver itself was pure. The potential for disputes and fraud was ever present, creating a need for something more reliable and standardized. The reliance on weighed silver highlights a world on the cusp of a major innovation. The infrastructure for a monetary system was already in place. The metal was agreed upon. The concept of standardized weight was understood, and the trade routes were well established. The only missing piece was a guarantee of that weight and purity, an official stamp from a trusted authority that would make the process of weighing unnecessary for every small purchase. The stage was set for a revolutionary idea to travel eastward, an idea that would forever change the way empires managed their wealth, paid their armies, and unified their people under a single economic identity. The revolutionary idea of coinage did not begin in Persia. Instead, it emerged to the west, in the small but wealthy kingdom of Lydia, located in modern-day western Turkey. Around the 7th century BCE, the Lydians were the first to take lumps of a naturally occurring gold and silver alloy called electrum and stamp them with an official mark. This mark, often the head of a lion, served as a guarantee from the king. It certified that the piece of metal was of a specific weight and purity. Suddenly, there was no need to weigh each piece for every transaction. People could simply count the coins, trusting the royal seal. This innovation dramatically simplified trade and is considered the birth of true coinage. When the founder of the Achaemenid Persian Empire, Cyrus the Great, conquered Lydia in 547 BCE, he encountered this brilliant system. Cyrus was a visionary leader, known for adopting and adapting the best ideas from the cultures he brought into his empire. He saw the immense potential of coinage. While he did not immediately create a new Persian currency, he allowed the Lydian coins, known as crosids, to continue circulating. The Persians even began minting their own versions of these Lydian coins, which featured the facing heads of a lion and a bull. This was a crucial transitional period where the Persians learned the art and science of minting from their new subjects. This adoption of an existing system was typical of the early Persian approach to empire building. Rather than imposing a completely new order, Cyrus and his successor, Cambyses II, integrated existing structures that worked. By allowing the Lydian mints to continue their work, they ensured economic stability in the western parts of their vast new territory. This period was like an apprenticeship for the Persian Empire. They were mastering the techniques of creating standardized currency, understanding its economic power, and preparing for the moment when they would put their own unique stamp on this powerful technology, transforming it from a Lydian invention into a tool for imperial administration on an unprecedented scale. The stage was now perfectly set for the next great ruler of Persia to take this inherited idea and make it truly his own. The concept of coinage had been tested and proven effective. The technical skills of minting were now within the empire's grasp. The vastness of the Persian domain, stretching from Egypt to India, created an urgent need for a unified economic system that could bind its diverse peoples together. The Lydian spark had been brought into the Persian realm, and it was about to be fanned into a brilliant flame by one of history's most remarkable administrators, a king who would use coins to organize his empire. The man who would ignite this monetary revolution was Darius I, also known as Darius the Great, who ascended to the Persian throne in 522 BCE. Darius was not just a conqueror, he was a masterful organizer and reformer. He understood that to effectively govern a sprawling, multicultural empire, he needed more than just a powerful army. He needed standardized laws, efficient communication through the royal road, and crucially, a unified economic system. He saw that the various currencies circulating within his empire, Lydian coins, Greek coins, and weighed silver, created confusion and inefficiency. His solution was bold and transformative, to create the empire's very first official imperial currency. Around 520 BCE, Darius introduced a bimetallic system of coinage, a sophisticated model for its time. He created two distinct coins. The first was a gold coin of exceptional purity, which the Greeks would later call the daric, likely named after Darius himself. This high-value coin was used for large state payments, international trade, and funding major military campaigns. But for the everyday economy, for paying soldiers, collecting taxes, and local trade, a smaller denomination was needed. This led to the creation of the empire's workhorse coin, a silver piece that came to be known as the Siglos, a name derived from the Semitic word for shekel, which was a unit of weight. The introduction of the daric and the Siglos was far more than just a change in money. It was a profound statement of imperial power and unity. For the first time, a single, recognizable currency was intended to circulate across the entire Achaemenid Empire. A merchant in Sardis, a soldier in Babylon, and a tax collector in Persepolis would all use coins that bore the same imperial image. This move centralized economic control directly in the hands of the great king. It simplified the collection of taxes, which could now be demanded in official imperial coin, making the state's revenue more predictable and manageable than ever before. This reform was a cornerstone of Darius's strategy to create a stable and cohesive empire. By controlling the minting of gold and silver, he controlled the economic lifeblood of his domain. The daric, being almost pure gold, quickly became a trusted international currency, admired for its quality. The Siglos, its silver counterpart, became the backbone of the domestic economy. Together, they projected an image of a well-ordered, wealthy, and powerful empire under the firm hand of a single authoritative ruler. Darius had taken the Lydian idea and scaled it up to a truly imperial level, creating a monetary system as vast and ambitious as his empire itself. The design of the Siglos was simple, powerful, and instantly recognizable. Unlike the animal motifs of the Lydian coins that preceded it, the Siglos featured the image of the Persian great king himself. This was a revolutionary step in numismatic propaganda. The most common design shows a crowned and bearded figure, representing the king, in a kneel-run pose. He is depicted as a heroic archer, holding a bow in his left hand and a spear in his right. This dynamic image, often called the Archer King, was not a portrait of Darius specifically, but rather an idealized symbol of the Persian monarch and his authority. It was a message of power, military prowess, and the king's role as the protector of the empire. The physical characteristics of the Siglos were carefully standardized to ensure trust and consistency. Each coin was struck from a high-purity silver, typically over 90% fine. It had an average weight of about 5.6 grams, though slight variations were common due to the hand-striking manufacturing process. The coins were not perfectly round like modern coins. They were thick, dumpy, and somewhat bean-shaped, with the design struck on one side, the obverse. The other side, the reverse, was left mostly blank, showing only the rough rectangular mark of the punch used to force the metal into the die. This irregularity is a hallmark of early ancient coins, a reminder of their handmade origins. The name Siglos itself tells a story of cultural blending. It is the Greek version of the Akkadian word shiklu, which corresponds to the Hebrew shekel, a long-established unit of weight in the ancient Near East. By naming his coin after a familiar measure, Darius made it easier for people across his diverse empire to understand its value. One gold daric was officially worth 20 silver sigloi, creating a clear and logical relationship between the two denominations. This fixed exchange rate was a sophisticated economic tool that stabilized transactions and simplified accounting for imperial administrators, merchants, and military paymasters throughout the Persian lands. What made the Siglos truly special was its role as a vehicle for imperial ideology. Every time a person held a Siglos, they were holding a tangible piece of the empire's power. The image of the Archer King was a constant reminder that their economic life was guaranteed and protected by the distant but omnipotent Persian monarch. It was a miniature monument, a mass-produced piece of royal art that circulated in the hands of millions. It transformed money from a simple tool for exchange into a powerful instrument of political communication, projecting the great king's authority into every marketplace and army camp, from the Aegean Sea to the Indus River. The circulation of the Siglos was primarily concentrated in the western half of the Achaemenid Empire, particularly in Anatolia, modern-day Turkey. This region had a long-established tradition of using coinage, thanks to the Lydians and Greeks, making it a natural environment for the new Persian silver currency to flourish. Mints were established in key administrative centers, most notably in Sardis, the former Lydian capital. From these centers, vast quantities of sigloi were produced and distributed. They were used to pay the salaries of Persian officials, and most importantly, to pay the many Greek mercenaries who served in the Persian armies. This is why large hordes of sigloi are often found in areas of western Anatolia. While the siglos was the official silver currency, it did not completely replace older forms of exchange. In the eastern parts of the empire, such as Mesopotamia and Persia proper, the traditional system of using weighed silver bullion continued to be common for large transactions. The economy there was less monetized, and long-standing customs were slow to change. However, the siglos still played a vital role. It was the standard unit for calculating and paying taxes to the central government. Even if a region paid its tribute in silver bullion, its value was calculated in terms of how many sigloi it was worth, demonstrating the coin's importance as a unit of account across the entire empire. The design of the siglos, while maintaining the central theme of the Archer King, underwent subtle changes over the nearly 2 centuries of its production, around 520 to 330 BCE. Numismatists have identified several different types based on the king's depiction. Early versions show the king with a bow and spear. Later types show him holding a bow and dagger, or simply drawing his bow. These changes may correspond to the reigns of different kings, from Darius to Xerxes, Artaxerxes, and beyond. While the style evolved, becoming slightly more refined over time, the core message of royal power and military strength remained unwavering, a testament to the stability of Achaemenid imperial ideology. The siglos also had to compete and coexist with other powerful currencies, most notably the silver coins of the Greek city-states, like the Athenian owl. In the marketplaces of the Aegean coast, Persian sigloi and Greek drachmas would have been exchanged side by side. The high quality and consistent weight of the siglos ensured its acceptance in international trade, making it a key player in the complex economic landscape of the ancient Mediterranean. It was more than just Persian money, it was a respected currency that facilitated trade and interaction between the Persian Empire and its Greek neighbors, serving as both an economic and a cultural bridge. The dominance of the Achaemenid siglos came to an abrupt end with the conquests of Alexander the Great. After defeating Darius III in 330 BCE, Alexander captured the immense treasuries of the Persian Empire at Susa and Persepolis. He melted down vast quantities of Achaemenid darics and sigloi, along with other bullion, and restruck the metal into his own currency. His coins, featuring the head of Heracles and a seated Zeus, became the new international standard. This act was both practical and symbolic. It replaced the image of the Persian Archer King with symbols of Greek power, signaling a new world order. The original siglos ceased to be minted, marking the end of an era for Persian coinage. However, the story of silver coinage in Iran was far from over. After Alexander's death, his empire was divided among his generals, with the Seleucid dynasty taking control of Persia and the Near East. The Seleucids continued the Hellenistic tradition, minting beautiful silver coins, tetradrachms, with portraits of their rulers, a practice that set a new standard for numismatic art. Then, around the mid-3rd century BCE, the Parthians, a nomadic Iranian people, rose to power. Their coins initially imitated Seleucid designs, but gradually developed a unique style, blending Hellenistic and Iranian elements. Parthian silver drachms, with their distinctive bearded kings, became the dominant currency in the region for nearly 500 years. Following the Parthians, the Sasanian Empire, from 224 to 651 CE, emerged, seeking to revive the glory of the Achaemenids. Sasanian silver drachms represent a high point in Iranian numismatic art. These coins were wide and remarkably thin, featuring highly stylized and majestic portraits of the Sasanian King of Kings on the obverse. The reverse side, almost always, depicted a Zoroastrian fire altar flanked by two attendants, emphasizing the dynasty's official religion. This iconic design remained incredibly stable for over 4 centuries, a powerful symbol of Sasanian identity. After the Arab conquest in the 7th century, early Islamic rulers initially copied these Sasanian designs before developing purely calligraphic coins. This journey of silver continued through the medieval and early modern periods of Iran. Dynasties like the Safavids, Afsharids, and Qajars all minted their own silver coins, each reflecting the artistic and political spirit of their time. Safavid coins were known for their elegant calligraphy, often featuring Shia religious formulas. The Qajar dynasty, in the 19th and early 20th centuries, produced silver coins with lion and sun motifs and portraits of the Shah. It was only in the 20th century, with the global move away from the silver standard, that the millennia-long tradition of silver as the primary metal for everyday currency in Iran finally came to a close, replaced by base metal coinage. The importance of the Persian Siglos in the grand narrative of history cannot be overstated. Its primary legacy is that it stands as one of the world's first and most successful imperial currencies. It was the crucial tool that Darius the Great used to unify the economy of the largest empire the world had yet seen. By creating a standardized silver coin, he moved beyond a patchwork of local currencies and cumbersome bullion exchange, establishing a system that facilitated taxation, military payment, and trade on a massive scale. The Siglos was, in essence, the economic glue that helped hold the diverse provinces of the Achaemenid Empire together for 2 centuries. Furthermore, the Siglos represents a pivotal moment in the history of money as propaganda. By placing the image of the Archer King on every silver coin, the Achaemenid rulers broadcast a consistent message of power, authority, and protection to every corner of their domain. This idea of using coinage to project a ruler's image and ideology became a fundamental principle of statecraft that was copied by countless empires and nations that followed, from Alexander the Great to the Roman emperors and beyond. The Siglos was a pioneer, demonstrating that a small piece of metal could be one of the most effective means of mass communication in the ancient world. Today, the Siglos is a highly prized object for historians and collectors. Each surviving coin is a direct physical link to the age of Darius and Xerxes. It is an artifact that was once held in the hand of a Persian soldier, a Greek merchant, or a Babylonian taxpayer. Its crude handmade form tells a story of early minting technology, while its iconic Archer King design speaks volumes about imperial identity. For numismatists, studying the different types of sigloi helps to build a timeline of the Achaemenid dynasty and understand the economic history of the ancient Near East. It is a small object that tells a very large story about power, art, and the birth of a global economy. In summary, the Persian Siglos was far more than just a piece of silver. It was the first official coin of the Persian Empire, introduced by Darius I around 520 BCE. Weighing about 5.6 grams, its design of the Archer King symbolized the monarch's power. It unified the vast empire's economy, simplified tax collection, and paid its armies. Though replaced by Alexander the Great's currency, its influence endured. The Siglos established the powerful precedent of an imperial currency, shaping economic and political history for millennia. It remains a testament to the genius of Achaemenid administration and a tangible symbol of one of the ancient world's